Hi, I'm Matt. I am going to be a sophomore in September at the Urban School of San Francisco. And so this is my starter project. It is a dice. Sorry, it's a dice, electrical dice. And the way it works is that you hit it on your hand or a surface, any kind of surface really, and it will read a different number. So the way it works is that you can see on the back here, there's this little disc here. This is called piezo controller, acceleration controller, or sensor rather. And so the way it works is that it senses when you accelerate, and it will give a number to the little chip here. And it's a pretty long number. It has a whole bunch of decimals after it. So then this little chip will take a number, and if it's either like a 1 through 6, it will display that. If it isn't a 1 through 6, it goes to the next number over. And it'll keep going until it finds a number it likes, and it'll display on the LEDs. Yes, I learned a lot from this first project. It was just a kit really, but I still learned a lot. I learned how to solder everything together. I learned how to use this and what it did and how it worked really. So yeah, that was my starter project. My main project is a word clock. So instead of a clock like this, or where the clock displays numbers, it's a clock that will display words. So unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to finish, but I can show you how it would work. So this is the enclosure for it. You can see all these LEDs are put here. And so, let's see. The way it would work is that I have a stencil in front of it with words in front of each LED cluster, and so when it's the right time, it will light up these LEDs. So I can show you how that works with basically a smaller version. So this is a 8x8 LED matrix, and so I had to use a special thing in the code called multiplexing. And so the way it works is that as you can see, these are 3 rows, and so you can, if you look closely, you can tell that the LEDs are actually flickering a little bit. So it's a little secret, I guess, that what's actually happening is it's turning them off and on really, really quickly, so quickly that your eye can't really see it, because you can't turn them all on at the same time. So it has to cycle really quickly through it. So let's see, it's 10 to 8. Let's see, let me just set the time. Okay, so yeah, that worked. If you can imagine this, but here, you'll see that the stencil would say it is 10 minutes to 8 o'clock. And yeah, so as for challenges, I had a lot of challenges with this project. I guess the first one was that unfortunately I couldn't complete it in time. Let's see, other issues was that the Instructables I was basing this off of did not use an Arduino Uno, which is what I'm using to control these LEDs. They made their own, basically they made their own Arduino with special stuff in it. And so I didn't do that, and so I had to kind of work around that and write a lot of my own code. And that was definitely an interesting experience because I've never coded before really. Yeah, I've learned a lot of stuff throughout this entire process. I learned both mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and coding. Um, let's see. Yeah, and I thought that was a great thing about Blue Sam Engineering is I knew I wanted to kind of like work with this kind of stuff, but I felt I didn't really have enough support by myself, and the instructors gave me tons of support, which was immensely helpful, and I'm very grateful to them. So, yeah, any questions? Yeah.
So the words in the stencil would be like 8 o'clock and anytime
Yeah,
it was
so
around 8, 8 would be lit up, and then it would be 10 after or 15 after.
yeah, the way it would work is that I would cut out the words so the LEDs could shine through it, and that would display the time. Yeah, for this clock, it only works every 5 minutes really. Because if it did like every single minute, it would be a lot bigger, which I guess is possible to do, but it's a little unnecessary, I guess. So yeah.
Do you want to tell everyone why weren't you able to finish?
Yeah, I mean, with all the difficulties I had, I guess kind of ran out of time. Now I know like exactly what I need to do to finish. I just kind of need to do it now. The biggest thing I think is making the stencil and spacing the words so that they fall right on top of the LEDs and so they shine through correctly. And yeah, I guess another problem I had was the LEDs. They came on a big like strip, kind of like Christmas lights almost. And so due to poor documentation, I guess, they take a lot of power, and it actually will destroy the Arduino Uno if I use it for too long. So I think I need to switch out the LEDs to make this really work.
Why do you need multiplexing? Why can't you control each and every LED?
Yeah, good question. So if I were to, so each LED like cluster, like thing of 3, needs, if you were to use multiplexing, you would need an individual pin. You see these are all pins here. There are 13 pins on the Arduino Uno, and that is not enough for this clock, which has 22 like clusters of 3. So it's not enough. So the way you can bring down the numbers by using multiplexing. So there are 3 columns and 8 rows. So instead of having 22, because this row and this row only have 2 because of the way the words worked out. Instead of having needing 22 pins, I only need 3 plus 8, making 11 pins. So that's enough for this Arduino. Actually, and you don't have to use multiplexing. If you were to use the next size up for Arduino, the Arduino Mega, you wouldn't actually have to do that. You could control each LED individually. So, yeah. Any other questions? All right, thanks.
Next up, William Wong.
So hi everyone, my name is William and I'm a rising junior at Lowell High School. Unfortunately I don't have my starter project with me, but it's basically the voice changer, which Chris demonstrated earlier. And basically what I learned from that was how to solder, and then I also learned about like the different electrical components such as resistors and capacitors. But my main project is the robot for Tank Wars. It was originally supposed to be controlled over Wi-Fi using a website, but that didn't work out. But I'll talk about more later. But now it's controlled over Bluetooth with this PS3 controller. So how it works is we have the Arduino board. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's basically the brains of the whole robot. And then on top of it is a motor shield. Basically that controls the two DC motors that drive the two tanks, treads on the side. And then all these weird wires that are all over the place are all attached to this Bluetooth dongle, which receives the signals from this PS3 controller. I think what makes this project unique is that in a way it's similar to Jorge's project where it'll move around, but what makes it interesting is that I've added a function that allows me to pre-program the robot to do certain functions before it does anything. So I guess I can demonstrate that right now. So what I'll be telling the robot to do is that I'll tell it to move forward and then shoot a laser at, I guess, that box. So. I think it's kind of bugging out on me because sometimes there's electrical noise and that kind of makes it move like sporadically. Yeah, and basically it'll shoot a laser at this laser target right here. It's basically a photoresistor which is connected to another Arduino board, which is then connected to an LED. So what would happen is that the laser pointer would shoot at this photoresistor, and it would reduce the amount of resistance, and once it hits, then it'll blink the LED 5 times. Yeah. So some major challenges that I had in this project was that I wasn't able to get a control over Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi shield didn't come until last Friday, and then like I had a lot of trouble with trying to get that to program properly. So then I think starting 2 days ago, I pretty much had to change my entire project to switch over to this Bluetooth control. So some things that I got out of this program is that before joining BlueStamp, I mainly had a mechanical engineering background because I was part of my school's robotics team. So I had no experience with electrical engineering or programming, but through this program I was able to gain a lot of knowledge about electrical engineering, and then now I have basic to proficient knowledge in 3 programming languages. And yeah, thank you. And any questions? Yeah.
So like in programming mode, you said you're like using commands. So how does the programming mode work?
So what I use is, I believe it's called preprocessor C. And what that allows me to do is that, I believe it allows me to call on a whole new group of functions. And what I did was that with Will's help, I was able to get it such that it'll state true or false statements, and then based on those true or false statements, then it'll tell the robot to move. So.